What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Thunder Sports Pod with JT and
Stash, baby. We back at it again for another week.
yes, sir. We got some interesting topics for you guys today. Diving into a possible trade. I'm gonna explain real quick. Stash, are you ready for this?
What trade are you talking about? What sport are we talking about?
Okay, NBA. So Mavericks and LeBron James. So hear me out. The Mavericks have been rumored to possibly draft Bronny James, LeBron's son, this upcoming draft. And that would possibly indicate LeBron going to the Mavericks. So I've got a trade. I don't know if you would like it or not. I'm going to break it down for you though. Okay, so hypothetically, hear me out. You get LeBron James going to the Mavericks, playing with his son, and you trade away Luca for Joel Embiid. What would you think about that? Because if, in my opinion, you have Kyrie, LeBron James, and Luca on the same team, one of those three has to go. I don't think Luca could really dominate as much as he could with all three of those guys on the floor at the same time. And what is Dallas truly lacking? A dominant big man down low that can space the floor and take up a lot of space. So I think Joel Embiid would be a perfect fit for Dallas. I know it's a crazy hypothetical trade, but I think if Dallas got Joel Embiid, that would be insane.
I would never do that in a million years. I would never do that.
And you got to
No.
think about Joel's health liability too. But you got to think though, Kyrie and LeBron James
For
back
how
together
long?
once again.
How long?
Probably
1 year? Two
It
years
would probably be
max?
2 years, 2 to 3 years max. And you got to think Luka's so young and he's got years in front of him. But you got a former MVP on your team too. So are you taking Joel or are you sticking with Luka?
Luca. I would take Luca. I mean, the Sixers are already trying to think about building over Maxi over him. Why would I want Embiid when I have Luca?
True.
And like
But this is, yeah,
I don't know. LeBron for like 2 years, like I don't like it. I don't like it. Like anybody that
yeah.
drafts Bronny, like you got to think you're getting LeBron for 2 years max. That's it.
Mm,
I don't see much more after that. So and another thing, I don't one thing I've thought about, but I don't feel like anyone else has that like really asked. LeBron wants to play with Bronny, but has Bronny ever said he wants to play with LeBron?
true. Yeah, I don't think he really cares as much. He just wants to get to the league. But honestly, LeBron could decline his trade clause and be a free agent. So he could. You don't even have to trade for LeBron. He could just sign wherever he wants to, if he did do that move. But ultimately, that was just a crazy hypothetical. Would you rather have Kyrie, LeBron, and Luca, or Kyrie, LeBron, and Embiid? I think the team would work better around Embiid with LeBron and
It would
Kyrie.
work better around Embiid. I'm not gonna deny
Yeah,
that, but it's just like
the future.
if you're looking at like yeah, if you're looking for a future, if you want to sell every chance of your future right now, go ahead for like a 2 year 2 year time
Yeah.
frame of getting a ring, and once it's over, it's gonna be gone again. The West is
Mhm.
harder, so you're sending Luca to the East, and then put him and Maxi together. Then they
Mm.
run the East. So if
Yeah.
you want Luca to get a chance at a ring faster, send him to the Sixers. But I don't know. That's wild for me.
Yeah, guys, let us know down below. Do you like the hypothetical trade that I cooked up with the Mavericks and the Philadelphia 76ers? Let us know down below. But moving on to the next topic. So, what is more thrilling in your opinion? A slam dunk, hitting a home run, or sinking a hole in one?
Sinking a hole in one is by far harder than anything else on this
Yeah.
list. So that's why it's very rarely happens. We see dunks, we see hitting homers.
Hmm.
I would probably say I would probably say a hole in one, but there's also a bunch of other things to take into account here. Like, is this guy hit the home run he hits, like the one that seals it and wins Game 7 of the World Series?
Yeah.
Um, I've seen plenty of dunks. I actually wish we saw more dunks than we do 3 pointers nowadays.
Yeah.
But oh well. I love the dunk contest back in the day with Aaron Gordon, Vince Carter, Zach Levine, Dwight Howard. Like a lot of those I really liked. the dunk contest. But like when it comes to like which one is probably the one that you're least likely going to see, the one that's going to be like, wow, how did he do it? It's probably going to be the hole in one for me on this one.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Honestly, I've only done one of those three. I've been able to dunk before, and just the adrenaline rush that comes through your body is just amazing. But at the same time, um, a hole in one is a lot more rare than just dunking a basketball. Of course, a poster dunk is going to be
Yeah.
amazing. That's going to feel incredible. And hitting a home run, I've never been able to do that. So I don't know the adrenaline rush or the feeling for that. So I can't speak on the behalf of baseball fans and players. But ultimately, I think it's between the dunk and hitting a hole in one. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to agree with you, Stash. I'm gonna have to pick the hole in one because that's like once in a lifetime, man. Not a lot of people can even say they've hit a hole in one in golf, and just getting that adrenaline rush and just seeing the ball go inside the hole. I mean, that'd be amazing. So I definitely want to accomplish that one day if I get good enough at golf. But I would say a poster dunk would be a close second. But give me the hole in one. But yeah, everybody, let us know down below. What do you guys think? What are you choosing? What is more thrilling to you in your eyes? But we'll go ahead and move on. So, we have NBA playoff talk and predictions. Conference finals are here, everybody.
They're finally here.
Yes, sir. You gonna do West or East first?
Let's do East first. I think
Okay.
that matchup's not gonna be as nice as the other one, so I say we go
Mhm.
with East first.
All right. So, we got the Boston Celtics taking on the Indiana Pacers. A lot of people had the New York Knicks advancing in this one, myself included, as well as you. So, how well do you think the Pacers match up with Boston?
So I think that okay, so I must be honest. I didn't think the Pacers would get this far. I had them out round one.
Yeah,
I really thought they were gonna be eliminated. I did not expect them to get this far. So I've got, in my opinion, I think 6 games, Celtics win. I think that the defense is gonna be a little too much for him. Porzingis will be back. He's gonna play the big factor for
yeah,
him. That and like they have such a high powered offense. The Pacers do, which not. I mean, Celtics have a good offense as well, but Pacers are so fast paced that if you slow them down slightly, they don't understand really what to do at that point because they're so quick at getting to the basket. If you play good defense against them, it kind of throws off their whole offense, and then they struggle. Um,
yeah.
so I think that's going to be a big factor because with the Knicks had Brunson Reed going off, doing everything he could, and took him to 7 games on his back. So I'm just going to say I think that the Celtics just have a more depth of a team too. That's going to play a factor. They're not going to be able to keep the offense going that fast. People are going to get tired from the defense. So yeah, I've got Celtics in 6.
I like your breakdown. I mean, I totally agree with what you said. What really hurt the Knicks, though, real quick, was just their coach, Thibodeau. I mean, he
Thibodeau's
ran his
great.
players into the ground, man. Like, he's done that in Chicago, and it really hurt him with the Knicks. And honestly, if I'm the Knicks, I'm looking at getting another head coach. I know they made it to the semifinals with their players, but you can't continue to allow your guys to get these extreme minutes game after game. They're just going to run themselves into the ground, and it showed with Josh Hart and several other players.
I like Thibodeau actually. I think Thibodeau's fine. I
He's a
understand, but like I just see to me that's drive, not for like because you got to think sometimes those players are asking for those minutes. They want those minutes. So to
that's true.
me, they're wanting to be in the game. They're wanting to make the difference. So like I'm
Hmm.
fine with it. Like Jokic and Murray played like every minute of the against the
Yeah,
Wolves in Game 7. I loved it. They had to. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but I don't think it's really on Thibodeau. I just think it's on the rest of the team because like
hmm.
if you want your stars to get a chance to break, you have to make plays while you're on the court.
That's true. Very true. I mean, Thibodeau is a very defensive-minded head coach as well. He's proven himself in the league. But going back to this matchup, so I like what you said. I think Porzingis is out for the first 2 games of this series, though, so that's going to be huge. I think the Pacers get one at Boston. So I like the Celtics in 5. I think they've got enough to advance to the NBA Finals. And like you mentioned, the Pacers are a very offensive-minded team. Not very good on the defensive side of the ball, but they could shock us and play some defense in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics and show up when they need to. But I think the offensive firepower for the Celtics is too much to handle for the Pacers. And with Porzingis coming back, that's going to be huge because he can stretch the floor and give them another type of score that they haven't had until he got hurt. So we'll have to wait and see. I think Miles Turner is a big X factor for this young Pacers team. If he's able to take some mismatches down low and establish his dominance early, I think the Pacers have a chance in this series. But like I mentioned, they might get one game at Boston, but I don't see them getting any more than that. So I've got the Celtics in 5, and Jason Tatum advances to another championship.
Okay, so we're in agreement. I got him in 6. You got him
Yeah.
in 5. We haven't differed, I think, at all in the East this entire postseason. So I'm not surprised on that.
So Western Conference Finals, we've got the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want to hear what you have to say on this one.
Of course, of course. So I just want to make this. I want to make sure this is known. I had the Mavs against the Clippers. I had the
Hmm.
Mavs against OKC.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Mavs
Woo!
against the Wolves in
Oh
7.
man. Okay, okay.
Um,
I see it.
I think I'm stoked. I was last series. It was such a great series. Nuggets did lose. It sucks, but like
Yeah,
Ant looked incredible.
he did.
He had great opportunities to make himself shine. I think but I don't think Ant's the reason they won that series. I don't at
No,
all. I think it was Cat and Gobert being on the floor defending
oh,
Joker
for sure.
was what really helped them win that series. I think they played a big factor. I'm not even a big fan of either one of them, but I think those were huge. I think they will still be an issue this series.
Hmm.
100%. Because I think that they just got great defense. Now you got two guys who were willing to do whatever it takes to win games, Kyrie and Luca, and they had like Derek Derek Lively was awesome this series. He was a rebounding machine. He pulled through for what they needed. That's where I'm he's got to step up against Cat and Gobert this series. And
Yeah,
Jones Jr. does too. They both have to step up big to get it done, but I think they can. They really impressed me last series and helping them
yeah.
get past OKC. OKC also big thing on that is Giddy. Giddy did not show up this playoff series at all. He was not out
He
there at
was,
all.
and that really surprised me because during the regular season he was playing really good minutes, and then towards the postseason he just disappeared.
But I don't know if Ant can guard Kyrie like that. If it's just 1-1, I know if they do a lot of doubles, and that's fine. Like that part, I'm like kind of more worried
Yeah.
about when it comes to the Mavs. But if it's Kyrie just versus Ant, I'm not that stressed about it.
Hmm.
Um, he did lock down Murray, which I was really impressed with because I'm a big Murray guy. The defense that they put on Murray and clamped him down was really impressive. But Kyrie's handles are not the same as Murray's. Kyrie
No,
is got the best
no.
handles to ever step on the court. So yeah, I don't know if he could be able to lock him down. Luca is another one. Luca can just hit it from anywhere. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, you went through one European guy, and now you're going to the next one. Arguably the two best players in the NBA right now.
Hmm.
And then don't forget Conley. Conley is very good at
Yeah.
defense. I think
Yeah.
Jokic said it best. He's the most underrated guy in the NBA right now, and I
Mm.
agree. Conley has always been a very good defensive player, and he can make shots, and he's always done that for consistently throughout his
Yeah.
career. So Conley is another big factor for him. But I think the role players play a big factor, and that's what helps the Mavs move on.
Mm. I like the prediction. I love the breakdown you gave. I mean, you forgot one key piece for that Mavs team, PJ Washington.
Oh
He was a
yeah,
big
my
X
bad,
factor.
my
Now you're
bad.
good. But he was a big reason why they won against that series against the Thunder, hitting a lot of three-point shots, rebounds, hustle plays. But Mike Conley for the Minnesota Timberwolves, you hit the nail on the coffin right there. I mean, that was just incredible play by him. Whenever he was out, they lost. Whenever he played, they won. So he's a huge, huge X factor for that young Minnesota Timberwolves team. Veteran leadership. He has high IQ plays. He knows when to facilitate at the right times, get everyone going. Anthony Edwards said it himself. He didn't feel good whenever he had to bring the ball up by himself, having to get guys shots by himself, and allowing Conley to do that for him really opens up that Timberwolves offense. So I think if Conley plays well, and if the Minnesota big men if they show up defensively, they've got a pretty good chance at winning. Um, like you mentioned, though, Lively, Jones Jr., those guys really showed up this postseason. If they continue to play well, I think it might go 7. But um, I predicted the Wolves to beat the Nuggets, and I'm predicting them to beat the Mavericks here. I've got the Timberwolves in 6 games.
Timberwolves are 6. All right. Hey, you slept. You slept on the Mavs last 2 series.
I
Don't
did. I
forget. You might
did.
be sleeping on them for 3.
Whew, we'll have to
Now,
wait and see.
who do you want? So say we'll go into this for a second. You see, don't forget Luca is dropping 27.3 points
Yeah.
per game,
Hmm.
9.1 assists, 1.4
Hmm.
steals, and 9.7 rebounds. So the man's a walking triple double this postseason.
He
Now
is.
he does have the one factor that is kind of bothering me. He's averaging 4.1 turnovers a game.
Mm,
It's kind of high for me. And then
yeah.
Kyrie's dropping 21, so you're looking. I mean, they're dropping 20 bombs,
Yeah.
5.4 assists, 4 point rebounds, 1.4 steals, but he's also averaging 2.5. So they're
Mm,
averaging about roughly almost 7 turnovers together, and that's another issue. But I think
yeah.
still think they get it done. But would you rather? Let me get back to my main point. Sorry, I just wanted to add the stats. I had them wrote down. I wanted to make sure they were known. Uh, I think who would you rather play if Boston makes it to the finals? So we both predict Boston to make it. So
Yeah.
you've got Wolves or Mavs. Who would you rather play against?
I would rather honestly match up with the Mavs if I'm being real. Um, because that big man duo down low kind of scares me. We don't really have another big man besides Porzingis to match up with them defensive wise, excuse me. The Luca and Kyrie matchup though. I mean, we have two of the best perimeter guards in the entire league with Drew Holiday and Derek White. So I feel like we could handle them better than Minnesota's big man. Um, so that kind of scares me. And Minnesota's got an extremely athletic and long team. So they could guard some of our guys, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, probably with ease. So Minnesota, I feel like, is a better defensive team overall than the Mavs. So I'd probably want to rather play Dallas.
Okay, I was just kind of curious. Who would you rather play? So
Yeah.
right now you have Timberwolves versus Celtics in the finals.
Yeah, I do.
What you don't want.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to. I do not want to face the Timberwolves in the finals. I feel like they would give us some fits. But I think it'd be a good matchup. It'd probably go 7 if I'm keeping it a buck. But I think the two biggest X factors in the Western Conference is for Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels, one of their best 3-and-D players, extremely versatile player. Whenever he plays good, they win most of their games. And for Dallas, I think it's Lively. I mean, he's got to hit the boards big time. Against Oklahoma City, they were a smaller team compared to Minnesota. So I mean, you got the 7-foot towers in Minnesota, so you have got to hit the boards every single play. Because I believe in Game 6 versus the Thunder, they out rebounded them by plus 16. So that's not going to happen again versus the Timberwolves this series.
Excited to see it.
But well, everybody, that is our thoughts and predictions. Let us know down below who do you have winning in the conference finals for the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. But we'll go ahead and move on. So, next topic at hand, we have expectations for the College Football 25 video game this upcoming summer.
All right, so I don't get to play it. So because I don't own a console. I'll have his
Yeah.
PC, so I don't even get to play the daggone game, which kind of sucks. But oh well. I'm excited for it. It looks amazing. The graphics are top notch. They've got Dynasty mode. They've got college Ultimate Team. It's like Madden, but
Mm.
they got that. They got Dynasty, Road to Glory, which I'm excited for. Those two the most. I like doing the
Oh, yeah.
Dynasty and I like doing Road to Glory. Those two are my favorites. The
Yeah,
one
those
thing
are.
I would really like to see is if they do in the older games, you were able to export your college player to Madden and let him play in the NFL. Like you could just port him over, and I really enjoyed that concept of it. So I hope they do continue to add that. But my one of my biggest complaints with it is there is no mascot matchup.
Oh,
No mascot
dang.
matchup in it, and I'm kind of upset. But you do get to create your own college. You get to create your own mascots and stuff like
Ooh,
that, and
that's
stadiums.
pretty cool.
I love it. You get to create your own school. I think it's really cool, and I wish why do we not have that in Madden at this point? Like, come on, EA. Like, you
Yeah.
literally why not? 2K is outselling you because of this. This is why.
That's very true. It's gonna be fun. I don't have a PS5 new gen, so unfortunately, I'm not able to play it, but I might be looking at upgrading to the PS5 sometime this summer and having the ability to play the game because the graphics look great. The game itself looks amazing from the trailer. So I'm very excited to play it and take the Tennessee Volunteers to the national championship. But it's going to be fun. Like you mentioned, you can create your own team, so maybe, shoot, the Golden Eagles, Tennessee Tech, baby. Wings up, we'll have to take them guys to the championships. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting and see the feedback because there's been some high expectations for this game for a lot of years. People's been waiting for a long time to see this game finally in the works and almost out. I'm here for it.
Oh no, it's
But
gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game.
oh yeah. But let us know down below, everybody. Which team are you picking to take to the mountaintop? And are you excited for this game to release this summer? But go ahead and move on to the next topic. Should these quarterbacks get re-signed this upcoming season? Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence.
No, no. Look,
Care
like the Jags are talking to T Law about a $50 million a year contract. Way too much for him. Dak's wanting 60, way too much for him. Listen, I'm gonna be the first guy to say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope people understand. There is only one QB in this entire league I would pay $60 million a year to, and neither one of them are named Dak Prescott or Trevor Lawrence. No,
Yeah,
not at all. I wouldn't. There's a lot of QBs who are top of the line. I would not pay that much money to. There's only one, and it's because he's the
right.
best QB in the entire league, Patty Mahomes. And I don't even like the guy, but yeah, that's the only guy that I can honestly say
Yeah.
deserves $60 million a year. Um, T Law has a negative record when it comes to his record as a QB. He's 20-30. Let's not forget
Hmm.
that. You're gonna pay a guy who is negative record 50 million a year. Why? I just don't get it. He's got. I mean, I wrote down all the stats on it, and like he's got a 63.8% completion. He's got 11,770 yards. He averages 6.7 yards per game, or on
Hmm.
6.7 yards per attempt, 235.4 yards per game. He's got 58 touchdowns, the 39 interceptions.
Hmm.
That's not a. I mean, it's not a great ratio. So like
Yeah.
now, when you look at Dak, I can see a little bit more of an argument for Dak. Dak's 73-41.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 67% completion percentage. He has 29,000 passing yards. He averages 7.6 yards per attempt. He averages 258 yards a game, 262 passing touchdowns to 74 interceptions. Look, there's a big difference there, and you want to pay these guys that close. If you want to pay Dak that 50 million a year, I completely agree. With his record and the talent they got, I know they got to pay some players, but I don't think it's a great idea. But I wanted to run this by you. I got two other QBs. I'm not going to give you their names. I'm just going to compare the stats to Trevor Lawrence. I want you to tell me if these guys deserve what ballpark they're looking at in payment.
Okay.
So Trevor Lawrence has played 50 games. This guy's played 42. His record is 18-24. So he's played less games. He's almost got the same record.
Yeah.
66. Got a better completion rating, 66.1. He's played less games. He has less yards. He's got about 9,000 yards. He averages 6.8 yards per attempt. 212 yards per game. 46 touchdowns to 36 interceptions. What do you think?
Hmm.
Where would you pay this guy? Comparatively, they're trying to pay T Law 50 million.
Okay. So compared to T Law, in my opinion, this guy would probably deserve around the ballpark of like, man, that's tough. I would say 30,
Like,
30 million,
yeah,
probably. I mean, it depends on the situation at hand too, because I mean, if the team is pushing for a playoff spot and if they're competitive, I mean, you could extend them for even more possibly. But who is this person?
this guy's Trevor Lawrence's backup, Mac Jones.
Oh,
Look how
wow.
similar his stats are.
Yeah.
And I got another guy. This guy's played 49 games, one less game than T Law. He's
Mm-hmm.
15-22 to Trevor Lawrence's 20-30. His completion percentage is 62.6. He has about 10,000 yards. He averages 7 yards per attempt. He throws for 202 yards per game, and his touchdowns are 59 to 24.
59 and 20. Okay, so that's quite a bit better. So this guy, I would probably bump it up to about 38 to 40, roughly.
Okay. Okay. How like stat wise with T Law, he's right there, real close on par. That's Gardner
Yeah,
Minshew.
yeah. I know you've been. Wow, that's
I'm
crazy. I
just
know you
saying.
have made the comparison.
I just don't
Right.
buy into the hype for T Law and pay
Yeah.
him 50 million.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Like
I'm in agreement with you. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has yet to prove anything to us, really. Besides that one playoff game where they knocked off the Chargers, I
yeah,
believe it was 2 years ago. So other than that, he hasn't really shown us much in his career being a former number one overall pick with high expectations. I like Trevor. I really do. Coming out of college, I thought he was going to be a great quarterback. He's been mediocre at best in my eyes. So he's got a big prove it season this upcoming year to see where the trajectory of his career is going to be looking at.
yeah, no, and like I just don't know. Like there are this is the thing. I see so many good QBs from college. There's so many good college quarterbacks that just don't amount in the pros, and that's fine. You can be a legacy of a college pro. It doesn't always have to transfer over super well. So I was I was just gonna throw that out there. It's just he was great in college, absolutely a stud in
Oh, yeah.
college. But I'm just not buying. I just have not seen anything that impresses me throughout this. That he's the like the prince. He was. A lot of people were talking and saying he would be the next Peyton Manning esque,
Yeah.
and I just never saw it. And like he just doesn't impress me.
We'll have to wait and see what he does this year. Hopefully that O line will be able to hold him up, and maybe he won't get hurt as much like he did last year. Um, but Jaguars, I'm not sure how I feel about y'all's upcoming season. We'll have to wait and see what you guys do. But
Finished in
we'll go ahead
third
and
in the AFC South. That's what they're doing.
yeah, oof. Moving on from Trevor, possibly in the future. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic today, everybody. So, Vikings and Bucks schedule thoughts. So, we're going to go ahead and give our record predictions and thoughts on our upcoming season. So, do you want to go first or me?
I'll let you go first.
All right. So, the Vikings' upcoming season schedule, right off rip, week one at the Giants. So, this one will be probably a very close game. If you had asked me this last year, it'd have been probably an easy win, but the Giants' defensive line's gotten better. We got a young quarterback, or we got Sam Darnold at quarterback, so we'll have to see how that situation goes. But I think we've got enough to sneak out a win at New York. I think it'll be a very close game. So I'm going to give us the W here. 1-0. I think we lose to the Niners at 49ers, so it's 1-1. Ah, man, versus Texans, CJ Stroud, the Neil Hunter revenge game. I think we lose that game, so we're 1-2 on the season. And then we go at the Packers, at Green Bay. I think we're 1-3. I think we lose that game as well. Lambeau Field, tough environment. Jordan Love gets going against our young defense. So we're sitting at 1-3 currently. Not looking great, but we get a bounce back win versus the Jets at home. I think that's a big game in London for us, actually, over the pond. So we're sitting at 2-3 at the bye week currently. So not great, but for a young quarterback situation, I mean, not terrible at the same time. So I'm thinking we're going to split the series with the Lions this year. So at home versus the Lions, I think we get the win. So we're sitting at 3-3 now. At Rams, Thursday Night Football, short week. We get the win there. I think the
Beat the
Rams defense is
Rams.
going to be depleted this year. Their offense might be good. I don't think their defense is going to be much though. So we're sitting at 4-3 now. Versus the Colts at home, I think we lose that game. I think we'll be sitting at 4-4. Probably a very close game, but I think we'll lose that one. At Jaguars, we win that one. 5-4. At Titans, W 6-4. At Bears, I think we lose that one. So 6-5. I think the Chicago Bears are definitely building something and they're going to be more competitive this year. So 6-5 versus Cardinals at home. I think we get the W 7-5. I think we've got enough. Versus Atlanta, primetime game possibly flexed in the future. I think we get the win. So yeah, we'll get another win there. What was that? I said 7-5 versus Cardinals.
Yes.
So that'll be 8 wins versus the Falcons. Versus the Bears, I think we get a win there, so 9 wins currently. At Seattle, I think we win that game as well. It's going to be an extremely loud and chaotic environment, so I think we barely win that one. So 10 wins so far, last 2 games of the season. Packers, that's up for debate. It's at home, so I think we get the win there and then lose at the Detroit Lions to finish the season. So realistically, I have us winning 11 games, but I think we could be in between 9 to 11. I think 9 to 11 wins is where we're going to be sitting. I mean, realistically, we could lose that Green Bay game down to 10 wins, and then we could possibly lose the Falcons game. So it could fluctuate. I'm saying anywhere from 9 to 11 wins is where we're going to be at for this upcoming season.
Okay. That's pretty.
So,
I see your points on there.
yeah.
For the Bucks, so we start the year off against a rookie QB, Jaden Daniels,
Ooh.
Washington Commanders, and I think we beat them.
Mm.
So I don't. I think they're getting better. I think they have another year before they start becoming a contender per se.
Mm-hmm.
I think they drafted a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's still going to take a little bit of time. So I got us
Yeah.
beating Washington to start the season. Then we play Detroit
Mm.
week 2. They beat us. They beat us last year in the regular season. They beat us in the playoffs last season. I think we get our revenge this game.
Mm.
But I think I could definitely see us losing this game as well. Like I feel like it's if we win, it's an upset for. But I'm thinking we're taking the dub here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we play the Broncos week 3. I think we beat the Broncos. I don't even know who their starting QB is.
Mm.
uh, then you got 4 Eagles. I think it's a loss.
Mm-hmm.
5 we have the Falcons. I know we're playing the Falcons in Atlanta. I say we lose that game. That's our first loss. So we're off to 3-1 or
Mm.
3-2. It's week 5. We're 3-2. Then we play the Saints. I think we beat the Saints. I think then we play the Ravens. I don't think we beat the Ravens. I think Lamar's gonna have a good year. Then we play the Falcons following in week 8. We play them. We're at home now. I think we get the dub over them. I think we're gonna split with them. So I think we both win at win at home, both of us. Then we play the Chiefs. I take that as an L. The Niners L. Then we go into a bye week at week 11, which I think is a really good bye week. It's late in the season, just perfect timing. So I like that. I think that like we do take 2 L's, but then we get the bye week, and then we come in and beat the Giants week 12.
Bounce back.
I think we beat the Packers. I think the Packers are a really good team. Baker Mayfield threw a perfect game in Lambeau last year. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, that's
I
very
think
true.
they did make some adjustments. I think that's going to be a tough game. That's another game I'm kind of torn on. I'm not exactly sure, but I do think we end up pulling out the dub there.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, I think it's a dub.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, I think it's a dub. Cowboys is a loss.
Mm.
Then we play the Panthers. Oh no, my bad. It wasn't the Packers. It was the Panthers. It wasn't the Packers. Panthers we beat. We sweep them, so we'll beat them twice, and then we finish the season with the Cowboys loss, Panthers win, Saints win. So I'm looking at 10 or 11 wins on the season, give or take. I think 11 wins is our ceiling. I think about 8 wins is our bottom. I think that's somewhere where we're going to end up playing a factor. But right around there is where I feel like that's where we're going to be at.
I feel you. So, if you had to make a definitive record prediction, like what would you say? You said the range, but what would you what would you predict?
I'm gonna say I'll be ballsy. I'll say 11 wins.
Okay, that's what's up. 11-6. That's a good record prediction. I mean, y'all were predicted last year to win like what? 3 games? 4
Two,
games?
2 games. We were
Two.
predicted to win 2
Ooh.
games last year by
And
Sports
to win your
Illustrated.
division, made it to the second round, so surpassed expectations, and they're giving us a 3-win season. So maybe we can have a replica season of you guys last year. So
Good chance.
I I said 11 wins. I'm gonna back it down to 10. I think that's more realistic. I think we'll finish 10-7 on the year. We might lose that Atlanta game possibly, but we'll have to wait and see. I think 10-7 is a pretty good realistic expectation. I mean, I don't know why people are thinking we're only going to win 3 games with the offense we've got. And we've got killers on that offense, and the defense. we got younger at certain positions, but with Brian Flores, I think we'll be okay. So I think 9 or 10 wins, probably 10 wins would be pretty realistic. But we got 10 wins for the Vikings and 11 for the Bucks. So let us know down below, everybody. What do you guys think about it?
I've been seeing a lot of people talk about say their team's going to win like 11 games. I've been seeing that a lot, like everybody,
Yeah.
and a lot of like I've seen Dolphins fans say it. I've seen a lot of people, and I'm like, we'll see.
Hey.
What I could hope for is I feel like I wish everybody finished 9-8 or 8-9. Every
Wow.
single team. Could you imagine the chaos trying to figure out who's making the playoffs each week?
Man, that'd be crazy, bro. I mean, I would like it because it would come down to like the last couple weeks of the season to determine who makes the playoffs versus who doesn't.
It'd be must watch football. Every game would
It
be must
would. It
watch.
really would. So impactful and meaningful every single week. Um, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic at hand, everybody. So, NBA draft top 10 projected players. What's your thoughts on them?
So I made a little list. So I was looking at Atlanta's got the first pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
They got and I've got them taking Zachariah Ricochet from a 6'9" small forward, power forward out of France.
Mm.
Washington, I've got them taking another guy from France, Alexander Sarr. He's 7'1" center.
Oof.
Uh, then I got Houston drafting your boy Dalton out of Tennessee, six
Yeah.
six shooting guard slash small forward. This is no trades, of course, because I know the Spurs would. We talked about the Spurs looking to maybe trade their out of the top 10. But I got taking Cody Williams out of Colorado. He's a 6'8" small forward. I think he could
Mm.
help them. Detroit's getting Reed Shepard, 6'3" point guard out of Kentucky. Uh, Harriet Mataz, Hornets are getting Mataz. I'm going to butcher this. Benzella, 6'10" small forward out of the G League.
Mm.
Uh, Portland's going to take Stephen Castle, point guard out of UConn. He's 6'6". He can play shooting
Mm.
guard as well. Then the Spurs take Rob Diggershaw, 6'3" point guard at Kentucky.
Ooh.
Grizzlies take Donovan Klingen, 7'2" center out of UConn. And the
Yep.
Jazz take Ronald Holland, 6'8" small forward out of the G League.
I, dude, I like those predictions. I think Klingman, you said from UConn, the center. I think he's going to be a very productive center in the next couple of seasons for whoever gets him. Very athletic, shot blocker who can stretch the floor. Um, I like him a lot. I think his game's going to translate pretty good. But Dalton Connect, my boy, I think if he goes to the Spurs, that's going to be the most realistic and just best fit for him personally. Imagine Victor Wembanyama, Dalton Connect, and if they possibly trade for Trae Young this summer, ooh, that trio will be electrifying. So I think they could possibly have a turnaround like OKC in the near future if they get Connect and trade for Trae Young. I would love that.
I got Houston taking them before they get a chance though.
That's true. That's true. They've got a bunch of young stars on that team as well. Jalen Green leading the team. Um, we could possibly see the Houston making the playoffs next year if they continue to continue to develop and grow. But
West is
I
tough
think you said,
though.
yeah, for Detroit you said, who was it?
Reed Shepard, the
Reed
6 foot.
Shepard. Yeah, I think that's a perfect fit for them. They need a shooter to surround Cade Cunningham, because their perimeter guys cannot knock down a single shot. So I love that pick. He's a great, forward for that team, and he showed up in Kentucky and really balled out this year. Um, 7'1" center from France. He had a second overall, I believe. I like him going first overall. He's got a lot of hype around him.
Hype ain't always everything. Sometimes hype is bad.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true, but I haven't really seen a lot of film on him yet, so I haven't really formed my definitive opinion yet on the guy. But I would probably say he'd go number one overall, in my opinion, pre-draft.
You think Atlanta needs a center more than a small forward, power forward?
Yeah. You could say that. Maybe, yeah. They need a lot of pieces.
Uh,
But yeah, that's pretty solid. But I like that a lot, actually, some of the picks you made. But let us know, everybody. What order would you take these guys, and which prospects really stand out to you this year in the class? A lot of people say this is one of the weaker classes in recent
it
history, but
is.
who knows?
It is.
We'll have to wait and see. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic at hand. So, NHL playoff talk. Where
Woo!
thoughts on this stash? I know you've got some thoughts.
All right. So we got Dallas Stars taking on the Oilers in the
Mm,
Western Conference Finals, and you got the Florida Panthers taking on the New York Rangers.
mm.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked for this. I'm pretty stoked. I actually am surprised the Oilers did get past. I did not think they were going to, but now they're here against Dallas.
Mm,
Florida beat Boston 4-2,
mm-hmm.
so they knocked out the Bruins. But the Rangers beat Carolina 4-2.
Ooh,
So they're both coming in off the same amount of games. I think it's gonna play. I don't think that's gonna play a factor though. My personal thoughts on this. I'm thinking Dallas wins 4-2, 6 games, and I'm taking the New York Rangers to upset Florida in a 7 game series.
ooh, okay. That's what's up. I like it. Um, yeah, I did not have the Oilers making it past the last round, but they're in the Western Conference Finals now, so their run continues. But I think it ends. I believe that the Dallas Stars, win this series in 6 games. I think they just have too much to handle for the Oilers, and they'll be advancing to the finals, Stanley Cup Finals. But for the other side, I think it'll be even closer. So you picked the Rangers in this one, right?
Rangers in 7.
Okay, I've got the Panthers, the Florida Panthers in 7 games. I believe they'll take them to 7 and advance to the Stanley Cup Finals to face the Dallas Stars.
So you got that. So we both picked Dallas in 6, and
Mm-hmm.
we're taking and you're taking Florida Panthers. I'm taking the Rangers in 7.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh, I think this is
Hope to
just the
wait find
year
out.
of game sevens.
Yeah, it'll be very entertaining, and we'll have to wait and see. There's been some close series in the NHL playoffs this season, so it's been pretty fun to keep up with.
Oh no, I agree. I'm stoked. I'm ready for I'm Stanley Cup is almost here. We're about to have
I,
crown a champion.
I just wish the National Predators would have done better, but
I wish
they didn't make it as far as I hoped.
I wish Lightning hadn't got knocked out, but oh well. Won one game.
Yeah. Well, everybody, let us know. Drop your predictions in the comments. Let us know down below who do you have reaching the Stanley Cup Finals. But we're going on to transition to our next topic. We have looking back at the 2014 NBA draft class. What's your thoughts on it with Jokic in there, second rounder? Taco Bell commercial, baby.
You mean the best player in the NBA right now? I know he got knocked out, but he's still the best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through this, man. Like I'm gonna name some names off here,
Mm-hmm.
and like just think there's a couple guys. There's one guy really that if you want to say you've drafted him over Jokic, I'm fine with. I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but there's only one in this list that when I was looking through. So so Wiggins went above Jokic. We were just talking about
Mm-hmm.
hype doesn't always translate. Like Wiggins was so hyped coming
He
into the
was.
NBA. So Jokic is better than Wiggins. He's better
Yeah.
than Aaron Gordon, his teammate. Marcus Smart was drafted in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Doug McDermott was drafted in this class
Mm.
ahead of him. These are all names ahead of him. Jabari Parker. That could you imagine if Giannis and Jokic had been on the same team? They had the opportunity
Imagine.
right there to take
Imagine.
Jokic, put them two together. You want to talk about like the '90s with like the two towers in Houston? Oh my goodness!
I really don't know.
You have one guy. You have Jokic pass the ball all around, and then you give it like he could just throw it up all the time to Giannis.
That'd be wild.
Now here's the guy that I'm going to say that was drafted above him that I think okay, if you want to make the argument, that's fine. Embiid,
Yeah.
Spencer Didwiddle,
Dinwiddie.
yeah, Dinwiddie, my bad.
Yeah.
Zach Levine,
Yeah.
Julius Randle.
Oh, okay.
All those guys were drafted ahead of Jokic.
Mm. Golly, man, there's some of these names I haven't heard in a hot minute. I mean, Shabazz Napier,
Yep.
Rodney Hood, Tyler Ennis. I mean, wow, these guys all taken before Jokic. Some of these guys had great potential. I mean, Jeremy Grant, KJ McDaniels. Wow. Jordan Clarkson was taken after Jokic, but yeah, this class had some guys that had some pretty good potential, but never really lived up to the expectations they had. But the biggest names, of course, in this draft class, in my opinion, like you mentioned, was Joel Embiid, um, Aaron Gordon, Julius Randle, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, former Defensive Player of the Year, Nikola Jokic, of course, taken later. All those guys before him, but that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I was like, man, and I found out Jokic was asleep, and his brother called him, told him he was drafted, and he's like, okay, we'll talk about it in the morning. And he like hung up, went to sleep, and then he got the call and everything in the morning.
9 to 5 for him. He was too busy with them horses.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
But one guy that the Celtics drafted, I was pretty high on out of Kentucky that never panned out was James Young. Never panned out, unfortunately. But yeah. Also, Zach LaVine drafted in this
Oh
class.
yeah, Zach LaVine, dunk champion. Not
Yeah,
always should have gotten it,
put some
but
respect on his name, people.
he is a good player. He has elevated his game every season. Every
Yeah.
stat has went up as he's played.
hmm Dude, one last player I'm going to talk about before we move on is Nick Stauskas from Michigan, man. He was such a sniper in college, and even in the pros, he had some games where he went off. Kind of underrated player, but he was never like a top 10 worthy player that he got drafted. He got selected 8 overall, never lived up to the hype, but he was a great shooter.
I was like, I didn't even know him. I'm gonna be real. I didn't even know him.
Oh man, but that's our thoughts on the 2014 NBA draft class, everybody. Let us know down below who stood out to you the most. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic at hand. Which NFL coach do you feel like is on the hot seat the most for the upcoming season? I know last year we had this same topic around this time of year. So, what's your thoughts on it?
All right, so I got a couple names. First one, I had him on the hot seat last year. I'm gonna have him on the hot seat again this year. Mike McCarthy for the Dallas Cowboys. If you are the Dallas Cowboy head coach, your job is on the line every single season.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it. That's just how it works in Dallas. So yeah, number one, 100%. Bears coach, I got number two. You did a lot this offseason. It better turn out for the better, because if you have a bad year, you're gone quick. If things don't get rolling quick, you may be gone. It's just I don't see that happen. Like, because you trade away Justin Fields, you get bringing all these key pieces, you take up a lot of cap. You have to make it work. Caleb Williams has to be the guy that saves Chicago, because if he's not, then you're going to be out of a job for sure.
Yeah.
And then Nick Sirianni for the Eagles is on also. I have him because I felt like Nick Sirianni. They started off real hot last year. They lost in the Super Bowl. They started real hot last year and then folded near the end of the season. Got knocked out first round of the playoffs by my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they got to get right. This is a get right season. If they don't, he's gone.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I mean, you hit, I mean, everything I was going to talk about really, because Nick Sirianni has all the potential now of making it far past what it did last year, because the players they drafted in this year's class, Howie, the GM, Howie Rosen, I mean, he did an incredible job this year filling the needs that they had last season in the secondary, linebacking core. I mean, there's no excuses right now for this team because they've got the players they need to make a deep playoff push. We'll have to wait and see. But Nick Sirianni definitely on the hot seat. But my pick would be Mike McCarthy for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he underperformed last year with high expectations heading into the postseason and got humbled by the Green Bay Packers. So, I mean, they've got all the talent in the world to really make a deep playoff push. Trevon Diggs' injury really hurt them on the corner position, but still, though, they should have beat the Packers in the playoffs. I don't know if it's coaching or if it's just players failing to live up to the hype of the moment, but I would definitely say Mike McCarthy, yeah, the hot seat, definitely starting to heat up. Turn that notch up to 10 for this upcoming season.
Oh yeah, no, so we're in agreement on that. I just named a couple extra guys because I felt like yeah they could definitely be on the hot seat as well. But Mike McCarthy was definitely my number one on this list.
Mm-hmm. I'm in agreement. But everybody let us know down below which head coach in the NFL do you think will be on the hot seat for the upcoming season? Moving on to the next topic, which player from your favorite team are you having the highest expectations for this upcoming season?
Who do I think is going to have the best like breakout year?
Yeah,
Or
like who
most
do you have the highest expectations for? Who do you think will do really good that, didn't really
Mike
expect to?
Evans will definitely be doing well, but I can't throw him in there. I know if he gets it this year, he breaks Jerry's record. He tied him last year, he, or I think yeah, no next year he has to tie. He'll tie this year. But the guy I think that's going to stand out, Baker. I think Baker's gonna like push himself further this season. I think they got the O line healthy. They brought in Graham Barton. I think Baker's gonna shine this season.
Mm, I could see that. I like that pick a lot. For my opinion, I think it's our second year linebacker out of Cincinnati. Ivan Pace Jr. Finally gets to wear big O zero. I know the number in college he wore, but he had a great rookie season starting at linebacker, undrafted rookie, by the way. So he had a huge role as a very young player, and I think he'll continue to grow and develop. And a lot of people will start to know this guy's name next year, I feel like, in an increased workload. But I think the highest expectations for me for the Vikings will be Ivan Pace Jr., linebacker for the Vikings. But last topic of the day. Good. All right. So, everybody, this is the last topic of the day. I believe you've got a game for
I
us.
do. I got a game. So I need you to talk when I name a player better than the player I'm about to tell you.
All right. All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely ready.
All right. So your player is D'Angelo Russell.
Ooh. Oh, gosh. Okay.
All right. First player's name Scotty Barnes. Second name Danny Green.
Oh, right now?
Right now.
Oh,
Dylan Brooks. De'Aaron Fox.
yeah. Yeah. Darren Fox is definitely better than D'Angelo Russell, in my opinion. He's a very underrated star in the league. Yeah, I would take Fox over D'Lo
I
for
had a couple
sure.
other names. I'm just gonna go through them just
Yeah.
to tell you who was next.
Yeah.
I had John Wall,
Oh, yeah.
Lamelo Ball, Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I would have taken LaMelo and Drew over
Okay, and then I had Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, I had him, and then it was gonna be James Harden, which I'm like,
Mm,
but no, I
yeah,
like. Okay, I like that actually. I was curious where
yeah,
like how far down the list I was gonna
yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's the part that I really liked about it.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes is he's a good young player, but I think he needs a little bit more before he can be better than D'Lo.
I agree.
But that's pretty cool. I like that. I like those names you mentioned for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to name like people like who aren't like thought about super heavily all the time, so I wanted to
Yeah,
throw in some like different names.
those were good. But let us know, everybody, where would you stop? Where would you allow yourself to pick a player that was better than D'Angelo Russell? So this is the end of the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate the love and support. Sub if you haven't already. Leave a comment, leave a like, share the video. Check out the TikTok, same handle, Thunder Sports Pod. We out.
Whoop.